5, 4, 3, 2. Chris, thank you so much for being here. I'm excited to have this conversation. So thank you for making time.
Absolutely. Great to be here.
And we're all making time because it's the Stanley Cup playoffs. So we have to do this during the day so it doesn't conflict with East Coast time or West Coast time. So thank you for making time. Last week in our newsletter, our readers, those keen-eyed ones, saw a little bit from the Hemp Beverage Alliance. This is a partnership that we kicked off last week. So thank you for the partnership. And from our perspective, this is a key part of what is going on in the cannabis and hemp realm. And we wanted to have experts like you to call upon from time to time to give us insight of what's happening. But before we do that, sort of up to the moment, give us a little bit of background about the HBA.
Yeah. So the Hemp Beverage Alliance is the trade association for the hemp beverage industry. We have over 300 members in the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom. Over 50% of our membership are brands. And then the remaining, 40-45% are supply chain partners. And that can mean anybody from a co-packer to a law firm to a distributor. Our origins are pretty simple and a little humorous. Back several years ago, I owned a hemp beverage brand and I was kind of lost in the sea of trying to figure out how to find distributors, co-packers, et cetera. So I ended up calling my competitors up saying, how did you do this? And, they had the same challenges as we did. That eventually evolved into a twice monthly call of us checking in with each other and trying to help each other out. Fast forward to 2023, I sell my brand to my partner and I tell these guys, I'm happy to continue to facilitate these calls. And they're like, hey, that's great because word is out about it.
Right.
And so we went from, 8 brand owners in 2023 trying to help each other out to, as I said, about 310 members as of this week. Twice monthly calls with over 200 people, a Slack channel of 800 people, a hemp beverage expo coming up in July that's going to have about 1,500 people in attendance. And as we said, membership and advocacy in most of the United States.
As you've seen that list grow and continue to join you every other week, did you think that the industry, the hemp beverage slice of an industry would get to be as, I don't know, pick your adjective, big, maybe controversial, scaled, accepted, like all of those things? Like, were those the seeds of the conversation or has some of it surprised you over this time?
Well, I think everybody came into it knowing there was going to be opportunity, that there was going to be risk or quote unquote controversy. But I think it is opportunity is what everybody is seeing. And that opportunity transcends just hemp beverages, but also the distributor and retailer community as well. As folks know, alcohol consumption is on a downturn right now for some categories more than others. But generally speaking, adult consumers are looking at other alternatives. And the United States, Western culture generally, but the United States in particular, is a drinking society, a drinking community. And so by taking a well-known and well-appreciated cannabinoid with THC and putting it into a drink that is a well-known and well-appreciated format and making it available where other adult beverages are sold, I think you're really hitting a triumvirate of opportunity that a lot of early entrepreneurs saw. And now increasingly more legacy adult beverage industry folks and investors and everybody else is beginning to see that that's really the sweet spot for where society is moving.
Yeah, it is interesting to see, even though, we follow this on a daily basis because we put out a daily newsletter, but even over the past month or two, it seems to be there are some seminal moments that are happening. And to you, you've seen them all because you've been part of most of them. But I think, there was a mention of it on Good Morning America, I think this week, right? Right, a segment on hemp-derived beverages. There was edible arrangements getting into the space at edibles.com. There was one of the biggest cannabis brands and medical cannabis dispensary in Florida turning into a hemp-derived shop. Like, a lot of this has happened over time, and it seems like a lot of it is happening right now as well. And like, is that part of the conversation on your calls with 300 people? And is that a measure of success, or does that increase risk for you and your members? Like, what do you think? Like, what's the state of play right now in terms of the industry and how it's viewing itself?
Yeah, well, I think that from an industry perspective, we feel very strongly that we're on an upward trajectory. When you look at the day-to-day, minute-by-minute battles that we may see in some legislatures regarding, regulation of our category, you know, there's an occasional delay, there's an occasional, bump in the road, but on the whole, what we are seeing is more and more people, more and more industries embracing this category. And when we have more partners trying to push that ball forward, we're going to see more successes. As you said, folks from the marijuana and dispensary category are coming into this our category. Folks from outside of the cannabinoid industry, distributors and retailers, some very well-known retailers in particular, are advancing this category. And the alcohol distribution community also recognizing the value of it. And that's an important aspect because those folks are very well established and very reputation driven companies, and they have a lot of influence when it comes to how and when regulations are put in place. So on the whole, yes, we're seeing this take off very, very quickly. But I think the good thing is that it's also taking off very sensibly. It's not the crazy town wild west that people may allude to in the news is really not the case when it comes to hemp beverages. There's a lot of self-regulation that's going on, and in states where there are regulatory frameworks, they are, in a lot of cases, very good and always improving. States like Minnesota and Georgia have well-established regulations, Tennessee and Kentucky as well. But we've also seen states like Arizona and Florida and other places trying to figure out ways to regulate these sensibly so people have access to them in the places where they already have access to adult beverages. Now, we're not necessarily successful in some of those states, but the fact that we've been able to move the needle forward or move the ball forward is really testament to the success of the category and the people that are in it.
It's interesting because one of the things that is undeniable, like if you think there's different sides of this conversation, what is undeniable is that consumers want this, right? Like that, and it seems to me really the only part of any of these sectors where consumers are driving the train, right? They're telling you and your members, they're telling the sort of regulated cannabis industry, they're telling the alcohol and beverage industry, they're even telling elected officials and regulators what they want with where they're spending their money, right? Like, the idea is like, we're going to clamp down on this because of X, Y, and Z, but consumers they're not there for that, right? Like consumers are saying, spending money and shopping and buying things that they want. And especially in a tight fiscal environment, like they're actually enjoying this. And it may be in Minnesota, they tell you it was the tip of the spear with this sort of category. But the sky hasn't fallen in Minnesota, and they're creating a regulated cannabis industry, and it's in Total Wine and at breweries, and alcohol and beverage distributors are distributing like it. It's almost like it's not happening whether people want it or not, but consumers want this, right? And I think that must be a very strong message from your members' perspective during advocacy, is consumers are speaking.
Absolutely, and the numbers testified to that. In some liquor stores in Minnesota, 15% of sales are THC beverages. There is no category in the adult beverage alcohol industry that has excited the customers and seen such rapid growth as hemp beverages. And this is for a lot of reasons. We talk about consumers wanting to take a quote unquote healthier approach to the way that they consume. They're taking a closer look at the relationship with alcohol. Hemp beverages provide a lot of benefits. It's the only way you can have a amusement in a can with 0 calories, right? That's something that is significant. There's people report that they don't have the grogginess or whatever the ancillary effects that they would have by drinking alcohol. These are important things to the modern consumer. And what we're seeing is that for the most part, the modern hemp beverage consumer, it's already coming in with a fundamental awareness of how cannabinoids affect them. We know that, with marijuana and cannabis generally being more and more accepted in society, folks have a better understanding of how it affects them personally, and they're able to make that wiser choice when it comes to their consumption, their consumption style, right? Just like I can go into recognize that one beer is going to get me to a certain place and four beers is going to get me somewhere altogether different. People are recognizing that that's how they can calibrate with hemp beverages too. And I think that's another thing, is that you're in a better position to more effectively calibrate how your day is going to play out when compared to other products.
I think that is absolutely correct. To bring it back to the front, we're going to continue this partnership. We're going to hear from you and your members over time, so we appreciate that. For those that get our newsletter, you'll see some more from the Hemp Beverage Alliance as well in that newsletter, and we're going to have a webinar. There's going to be some more content from both of us. So I want to thank you for the partnership. Thank you for making time today. We look forward to connecting with you very, very soon.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Great. Thanks so much for being here.
You too.